Hi folks, welcome to Look with Luke. We are on Thursday afternoon. I'm still unpacking stuff and I just had a great time actually with the Newcastle Christian students, their leaders at lunchtime. So it's good to get back into that kind of work. But we're going to look at something that for me is just, again, so important. Now, it's important in the context of what we are looking at, which is the birth of John the Baptist as the forerunner of Jesus Christ, as the prophet before Jesus Christ. And yesterday we saw that he was filled with the Holy Spirit even before he's born. And today we read verse 16 and 17. He will bring back many of the people of Israel to the Lord their God, and he will go on before the Lord in the spirit and power of Elijah to turn the hearts of the parents to their children and the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. Now, there's just so much about this. For me as well, again, you're talking about the work of the Spirit. You're talking about people being prepared for the Lord. You're talking about all of this going on, and it's so important for us to see that. It's a prophetic one. This idea of bringing many of the people back, it's the idea of conversion. And it's funny, we live in a society where people are talking about anti-conversion laws. And I know what they mean in terms of conversion therapy, but believe you me, it would not take much for our governments to say, no, people aren't allowed to convert, to change, to turn back to the Lord their God. It became a term for Christian conversion. Acts 9:35, for example, all those who lived in Lydia and Sharon saw him and turned to the Lord. We're told that it's the mark of the true priest, Malachi 2:6, that they turn many from sin. So this gets applied to John, and then he's told he'll go on before the Lord in the spirit of Elijah. Now, he's the forerunner preparing the way for the Lord. He isn't Elijah at one level. Some people think that John was regarded as a messianic figure. But although he isn't Elijah, yet Jesus said he's like Elijah. So Matthew 11:14 says this, and if you're willing to accept it, he is the Elijah who was to come. He has the same spiritual power as Elijah. He's filled with the Holy Spirit as Elijah. He's the last of the Old Testament prophets, John the Baptist, that is. And its preparation is very interesting, isn't it? To turn the hearts of the parents to their children. What does that mean? It's a very, very difficult part. I think it's quite difficult to understand what it's saying. So it's from a text in Malachi, and it's referring to the restoration of good family relationships. I think that's something that's very crucial. That may be used here. It may be that the fathers are identified with the righteous and the sons with the disobedient, and it's to turn the hearts of the parents to their children and to bring that out. Or you can turn it the other way around. You can identify the fathers with the disobedient and the sons with the righteous. Maybe it's saying that John will succeed in being the younger generation, bringing the older generation to the faith of the younger generation. I think one of the commentators, I can't remember who, I wrote down this note, I can't remember who, but it says something like this. This is about the people who are prepared for their God, are those who have learned to live in peace and righteousness with one another. So there's a sense in which what we're being told about John is he's the last of the Old Testament prophets. He will fulfill the prophecy of being in the spirit and power of Elijah, and he will reconcile parents and children, and the disobedient will come to the wisdom of the righteous. Now, I see that applying. I see applying I feel it's so much applying in my own situation, because I have to declare the word of the Lord. And in so doing, I hope and pray that people will be reconciled not only to him, but to one another. And that somehow there would be revival and renewal in this place and wherever you are. But surely it is the task of the preacher to have a prophetic ministry, to call people to know Christ. And it's something that's very deep, so much deeper than the shallow way we often present the gospel. Maybe a work of preparation needs to be done first. Maybe there has been a work of preparation here. I've always thought of evangelism as ploughing and sowing and watering and reaping. And I believe that too many of us rush into evangelism without the ploughing. Well, John the Baptist was to plough and to prepare people for Christ. Well, may it be that wherever we are, we would see this. Now, I'm going to leave you with this song, Robin Marks, These Are the Days of Elijah. I know some people hate it. I actually love it. So I'll leave it with you. And may these be the days of the power of the Lord, the days of Elijah that point us to the one who's coming. God bless you, the one who has come actually, and the one who is also coming. God bless you, and hopefully I will see you in a new place tomorrow. Bye.
Of Elijah, declaring the word of the Lord. And these are the days of your servant Moses, righteousness being restored. And though these are days of great trial, of famine and darkness and sword, still we are the voice in the desert, crying, prepare ye the way of the Lord. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice, the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion till salvation comes. And these are the days of Ezekiel, the dry bones becoming his flesh. And these are the days